All right, good morning, everyone. And I just want to personally thank everyone that's been supporting us over here on LinkedIn. Thank you for joining LinkedIn Perspective. Today, I'm going to be having a special guest and a special guest, but also a client. And then this gentleman I know for about 20 years, but we've been able to do some extraordinary things. And honestly, the biggest thing that I learned from this gentleman is that from a business standpoint, we're pretty much like-minded, but we were able to develop a good, solid, healthy relationship. So, needless to say, and without further ado, I'm going to introduce the one and only Craig Cushman. Cushman, go ahead, knock yourself out, man.
Thanks, Hiram. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk with the people that you also have great relationships with. I listen. All of life is about choices. I have many favorite quotes, and life is about choices and moments. And one of my favorite quotes is a woman named Trinidad Hunt. She said that life is millions of moments, but as we begin to change this moment, we begin to change our lives. And I like that concept a lot because it always puts us in a present moment. Um, Not every moment is our best choice moment, or not every moment is our best opportunity, but every moment teaches us something. And this moment right here in this conversation is another one of our many moments in life that we collect. And another influencing thought leader in my experience has been Jim Collins, as I've read a number of his books over the last 20 plus years. And he had a book called Good to Great that was a big selling book. And fundamentally, moving from good to great is really about a conscious decision. And there's a moment in our lives where we have these transition moments. Sometimes they're put on us, but sometimes we choose them. But it's always about a conscious decision that we make to just be sick of being sick and tired, or sick of working for somebody else, or it's time to step into our greatness, or it's time to execute our dreams, or whatever that is. There's always there are endless opportunity moments in life to do that. So what I love about this conversation is what we're about to talk about, which is, I think, one of the most unique moments in time for this particular opportunity. This is a multi-decade scenario that has started to show itself, and it's fundamentally around franchising in the food industry, which is not something that I come from, or had I known I would ever be a part of. But what's happened is I have many relationships, and one of them led me to this particular conversation. And what I've learned is that some of the biggest franchises in the world are looking for different ways to do what they do, but so are some of the biggest retailers. And so, case in point, Walmart has for many, many years had in some of their stores food opportunities, whether it's McDonald's or a Subway, or there's even Papa John's and Burger King's in some of them. But what's happened is, over the last 35 years, Walmart has come to realize that they're not very good at food. As a matter of fact, they will admit that they suck at it. So when you think about when you go to Costco or you go to some of these other places, you do think, I'm going to get some food at these places because they are set up and they're serving it. So Walmart's failed miserably over the years to do this, but it's a new day, it's a new time. And so what I want to share with you is a little bit about this concept called One Kitchen. And One Kitchen is powered by Ghost Kitchens of America. And here's the story. It's very simple, and you can decide if this is something that that resonates with you, if this is a moment for you. But here's the story. Back in 2015, the founder, George Codis, started this business with 20 different brands in order to create optimization of and systemization of delivery. And it just picked up, and it exploded during COVID, but it was actually successful. This all began in Toronto, Canada. And what a lot of people don't know is that Uber Eats actually also started in Toronto, Canada. So there was a correlation to take advantage of that. But basically, it caught the eye of Walmart in Canada, to the point that Walmart of Canada actually invited ghost kitchens to come in and set up in their headquarters in Toronto, and that has become wildly successful. There are something in the order of a couple thousand people working in that particular location, and they've come to love it. And the CEO of Walmart Canada and the CEO of Walmart America are very good friends. And so they're sharing the information. So now what's happened is there is a massive opportunity in the United States for integrating this one kitchen concept into all of the Walmarts around the US. And there, for the record, there are about a little under 5,000 of them in the United States, a total of 10,000 of them or more in the rest of the world. But that's the backstory of the process. Now, the difference here, the one kitchen difference is the uniqueness of this opportunity is we are working with the largest retailer in the world, providing a simple turnkey operation where we handle the location lease, the build out, the training. We work with you on this. And it's an unlimited opportunity for you to have one or multiple units in a given area, and taking advantage of the massive foot traffic that is in these businesses. And that's the number one problem for small businesses is traffic. How do we get people into our store? How do we get people into our restaurant? How do we get people into our drive-through? Or how do we get people calling us or whatever it is? So traffic and numbers are what everybody's after. So if you can imagine being inside of a machine that already brings in the massive foot traffic, and your ability to convert a percentage of that foot traffic into your space, your food space, something that people are there for in the first place, seems to have some quality opportunity to it. So this is the concept. It's a disruptive, revolutionary, but proven system where you have one operator, one kitchen. It's walk in, sit down, or delivery. And by the way, this is the only seated eating concept in Walmart for forever. So this is a very unique scenario, but it's multiple brands being delivered out of one kitchen experience. So customers walk up, there's a kiosk there, or they use their QR code. They place their order for the multiple brands, the multiple products, feed the family, and pick up the order, packaged and made to the specifications of each brand recipe in the packaging appropriate for that particular brand. A Nathan's hot dog is going to come out in a Nathan's hot dog box and not in some plastic styrofoam thing or whatever. So the experience for the customers is as if they have ordered from 20 different brands in a food hall, a miniature food hall, and gotten everything that they needed. The difference is it's all conveniently delivered. It's one point of payment, not multiple lines to get in, and it serves the entire family. So you can see on this particular page just some renderings of some potential looks that can happen in the different Walmarts where we are currently in operation. They have a variety of different looks. It's just the way that, progress is. That as time goes on, changes are made, things get better, things look better, etc. And you as the franchisee, you as the business owner have a say in which design and look that you're going to have. And it's all predicated on the space availability in the different locations. And just so you know, at any given point, there are about 600 to 700 Walmart locations with vacancies or coming vacancies in the next little bit. So we have access to that data. We know where the best performing stores are. We know the transactions per year in a store. We know the foot traffic. So we can help franchisees establish themselves in the communities that they want to establish themselves and get the highest return on investment. Small businesses fail over and over again. If any of you on this call have been in a small business, know anybody that's run a small business, small businesses struggle, and it's always the same stuff. It's a lack of capital. It's a bad location. It's a lack of business acumen, business skills, or poor quality and inconsistency in delivery. And this is where the one kitchen formula comes in and helps you win and win and win, because we can assist with the financing. We have a high like a high touch training process. It's a system. You run the system. The system's proven. It works. We partner with you. It's a high quality experience. It's known brands, known recipes. It's the stuff that people want. It's the stuff that people eat. It's fresh because it's got variety, and a person isn't going to go to have a one experience and then go, nah, I've had the stuff there. They have so much to choose from. So it makes it an impulse buy every single time they're in that particular Walmart. And again, I'm going to go back to one of the major things. It's the high traffic. It is an amazing scenario. And the costs for doing something like this are related to the sales that you make in your environment. So you're not like when you start a business, often you have to get into multiple high cost parts of the business, right? You're getting in with a fixed rent. You're getting in with utilities, trash, sewer, water, electricity, and these things can go up and up and up and down. So this scenario is different because you're in a single, simple percentage of sales, and then everything else is all inclusive. So that's really, really helpful to a business operator. I won't go through all the problems and advantages, but just so you know, like it's about rents, it's the cost of building out, it's labor, it's managing labor costs and personnel. What's beautiful about this process, as I said, it's a percentage rent deal. We can help with the financing getting in. It's a fraction of what it would be for any other big time mainstream franchise. Like, a Jimmy John's is 1.5 million. You're getting into something like this at a third of this kind of an environment. And a Jimmy John's doesn't have a guarantee of a great location or high traffic, but these do. So this is sort of a very fun way to actually start into a business that cash flows very, very quickly. So why one kitchen? Well, in my studies, I remember watching a TED talk by a guy named Bill Gross. You're welcome to look it up. He calls it the 5 keys of a startup. I recommend you go seek out that TED talk, because what he says is there's 5 keys to success in a startup. There's funding. You got to have the money, got to have the capital. Everybody knows that. You also have to have a really smart business model. You have to have an innovative set of ideas or offering, and you need to be a part of an experienced team. But the number one issue, just like in real estate, it's about location, location, location. In business, in life, in relationships, it's all about timing. But here's the thing. This has both timing and location, and it has the funding behind the company. It has the most unique business model you're going to find in franchising. This is disruptive. It's the most innovative idea. This is a replatforming of multiple brands through one place. This is extraordinary. And the advantages are what I said. It's the disruption. It's the choice and convenience for the customer. There's a social shift of coming back together as human beings. And yet you can also maximize the third party delivery with the Uber Eats and the DoorDash. And you're providing, again, massive amount of variety. And it's a super family friendly solution. The alliance is simply powerful. It is one kitchen, ghost kitchen. It's the backing of some financial big players in Spectra Global and Wealth Space, and then of course it's the partnership with the biggest retailer on the planet. Business Insider has looked at this for years. They are big proponents of it. You can see the different looks in Canada and in other places around the U.S. So nuts and bolts, just so you have an idea. To step into this business, you'd be looking at needing to have about $75,000 available to you. So $50,000 is the business acquisition fee. $25,000 starts the process with the company that secures the locations and starts the build out. If for some reason they are unable to secure that location, then all of that investment is fully refundable back to you. But there is a stepping in process. So this is really for people that are ready to take their lives to the next level. They've maybe done a little bit of savings. They've got some money in their 401k. They're ready to step out of the old way of doing what they've been doing and step into something new and taking ownership and creating legacy. The Walmart rent is 10% of your sales. Just as I said, there are royalties that get paid to the brands. There's a little bit of marketing cost. The labor cost is fixed and tight, and this is not a high labor intensive environment. This is a few people on staff. There's automation. There's even robotics coming, which is crazy. If I showed you that, it'd blow your mind. And so the investment range on the build out ranges from 400 to 600,000 because you're coming in and retrofitting and putting in a really extensively beautiful, efficient, optimized kitchen delivery system. The kitchen section is fairly small relative to the space. So there's a lot of space for the customers to sit if they choose to do that, or take what they've ordered to go. You can see more about this on our website, onekitchenbrands.com. And always happy to answer questions if there's some interest. What I would suggest is, if you do have sincere interest in this, and if this is something that makes sense to you, and if this is your moment in your life where there's the possibility that you're going to go from good to great, that you're going to make that conscious decision, that somehow this message resonates with you, then I would encourage you to reconnect with Hiram. Let him know that you've got some interest. We have financing available. So for veterans, we have some relationships building with different veteran-supported banks. We have, obviously we have relationships to SBA loans and so forth. There are multiple ways to step into this process, but there is a major, major financial upside opportunity in this. And I didn't walk through all of that, but let me say this, that the net profit to the operators is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20%. And that's proven across the board. And we're not doing businesses that are less than $1 million. And some of them in these super high performing Walmarts is pushing between $2 and $3 million. So you can do your own math and see what kind of ROI that this kind of an investment would make. What you're seeing in this business is unlike anything else that's out there. A typical franchise, you're happy if you're getting your ROI in 3 years, 4 years, sometimes 5 years. People walk in and they understand that breaking even and getting your return on investment does take some time. These are set up to give you an ROI inside of 2.5 years, maybe 1.5 years. We've seen all levels. That's extraordinary. And the value of the business goes up immediately because of where you're located inside of these Walmarts. And so I would encourage you, if this has your attention, let's get in and have more dialogue, more conversation. I'd ask you to and invite you to reach out to Hiram, let him know of your interest, and we can begin the conversation. We'd love to have more conversations with you. We know that this is where America goes to shop at Walmart. And they typically leave a Walmart and they scoot off to one of 10 or 15 or 20 fast food places that are close by. Here is an opportunity for you to disrupt some of those patterns and give people the convenience, the choice, the freedom, the immediacy. They can even place their order when they walk into the store and pick it up and go as they go. The whole family can get what they want, unlike you typically are coming out of the store and Susie wants chicken nuggets and Tommy wants macaroni and cheese. And so mom and dad end up eating crappy food because they're serving their children. But here, everybody can get what they want. You want a salad, you want something healthy, you want a cheeseburger, whatever you can still feed the standard American diet of chicken, tacos, pizza, and burgers that we all love. And at times that's appropriate, but we can also add to it and even lean into being a little healthier people in our choices. So all that said, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attendance in this conversation. There's a lot more to share, but this was really just to give you a sampling of what's possible. This is the most unique thing I've ever seen in my life, and the receptivity is huge right now. The energy is giant. I believe we're going to fill these spots in a very short order. So if you have some interest, I would encourage you to take some conversational, exercise your desire to have that conversation sooner rather than later. And with that, I will stop and give it back to you, Hiram. Appreciate the time and opportunity to speak with your audience.
So Cushman, let them know why is it important that you reached out to me and the veteran community, and why do you see it as a potential, you know, it changes the dynamics in business because you're a visionary. And I feel that people need to see things from a different perspective because we're struggling. And when we talked about offline, pay the man and doing everything else, share on why you think it's so important, why you're so passionate about why we're sharing this.
All right. Well, this is not just for veterans. This is for any hardworking family. I imagine that the people that will step into this with authority and power will be veteran families and will be immigrant families who are accustomed to coming in and doing hard work. What I love about the relationship with Walmart is that Walmart is Main Street USA. It is the brick and mortar found in every town, everywhere, and you can have an opinion one way or the other, but you can't dispute that it is a big presence in every community. So I will even admit I myself am not someone who typically shops at Walmart. But here's what's interesting to me. Why I like this idea is if I'm aware that there is a better multiple choice process to do, I will want to do that. And what I'll also say is that Walmart has a big big influence in American families who are focused on value and lower cost. And so and they're also very supportive of veterans. And so what I see is and I'm having many discussions to this end. What I see is many veteran families stepping in for their next thing. They put their service to the country, and now they have an opportunity to serve in the communities where they came from and have the benefit of connecting with those communities. And so I believe there is an amazing opportunity for anybody that decides to step in and participate in the velocity and the flow of business that happens in a Walmart, whether you like them or don't like them, whether you shop there or don't shop there, it's irrelevant. It's happening no matter what. So this isn't about your opinions or your timing. The timing is happening. So the timing is about this business and how people do what they do. And I will tell you that Walmart is interested in competing against Amazon because Amazon has our attention. We can order something and have it in a day or two or whatever. But what we can't do is we can't walk in and buy we can buy groceries, but it's not the same thing. And so there is a value to having a place to go. And if you wonder about that, go to any Walmart anywhere, anytime around the country, and it's always full. There's always, I can tell you there are Walmarts around this country that have literally 3 million transactions a year. And that means there's like 15 to 16,000 people walking through every single day. If you understand what that means, that's a lot of human beings. That means a lot of them are hungry. A lot of them are going to want some food choices either in the store or as they're leaving the store, or when they get out of the store, they want to go somewhere to get something to eat. You do it, I do it. So why I like this concept is it just serves choice, healthier choices at the places where people are already going and don't have those choices. And so hardworking families, good people intent on giving better variety, better options, get to take advantage of a shift in timing and own their own legacy and own their own lives and own their own time and freedom. Look, this is, you could come in and run it yourself. You could come in and hire somebody to run it with you or for you. You could have multiple units and build a little portfolio. But understand, these are multiple six-figure earnings opportunity in these locations, and you could have as many of them as you want. So I see this as really one of the most profoundly awesome opportunities out there. Again, whether you're a fan of a big corporation or not, whether you think that they are good or not, they definitely contribute to the communities, and so you can either fight against the principles, or you can get in the flow. And I remember a comment that Thomas Jefferson made back whatever that is, 200 years ago. He said, in matters of fashion, in matters of fashion, go with the flow. But in matters of principle, stand like a rock. So I think you have to decide for yourself whether you are somebody who understands what people do and get in the flow and learn how to take advantage of that for your own self and your own family and serve that flow, or whether there's something that causes you to stand in a different space. Either way, it's all okay. But you'll either be a customer of a one kitchen or you'll be an owner of a one kitchen, one way or the other. So we'd love to have you either way.
So a lot of people are just suspect, but here's the thing that I can share with you, right? Yeah, you have some valid points. As Amazon, there's 2 locations where I live at. There's Amazon Fresh, where they're building right there, is pretty much resourceful. Amazon has been able to dictate everything on the online shopping. With the other scenario, when it comes to Walmart, people are constantly in there because that's where they feel comfortable. And with today's economic situation, with the gas prices and food prices, people are actually shopping. So of course, they're going to have a moment where they want to be able to eat. They're already stressed out. They want to have choices. And as we both know, McDonald's has moved out, and this is where the ghost kitchen has been able to come to life. Correct?
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Is these singular multi-concept distribution points have come up because it just makes sense. People want variety. We're bored with the same old. If you're going to one sandwich place and there's 5 to choose from, that choice point gets stale. After a while, you stop going. But if you could walk up to a place that has 20 national brands and you can choose a variety from any one of those brands, the match to what you're ready for or hungry for in a moment to what's available to you is much higher, and your likelihood of a good experience is higher, and your likelihood to return is also higher. So I see that as a shift in the way people think about their food choices. Fast food is not our best choice. It's just what we do. So if you can add to the fast food choice a greater array and more variety, in addition to the things that you love that taste good that are not good for you, you're still going to get that. You still want that. That's still available. But if you can also support it with some additional and better choices as well, all in one place, my goodness, that sounds like a winning formula. And so far it is a very winning formula.
So when you do the presentation, right, we talk about the vetting process, and what we stated in the beginning, this can be a good movie, but here's a great opportunity for people to really invest in. Why is that?
Well, because there are very few places that can give you any kind of assurances in your investment. Very few. And, a lot of people are out there making some really big promises, and there are always places you can go to do something. So if the food franchising mentality makes a little sense to you, if you could imagine yourself in a cool, high-tech environment, high-touch environment, active environment, serving quality products and food to people, if you can imagine that, that's the first phase. But the real issue is, how do you get people in the door? That's the trick for these places. And so many of these places, they just struggle for years to get off the ground, and many of them close up really fast. But here's the deal. You're not going to be put into a low performing store or a low performing Walmart. We're looking at the top 15%. These are the high performing, lots of action, lots of activity. And that's the bottom line. And so the reality is your ability to be kind, cool, nice, service oriented, inviting, meeting people at the door. You got your One Kitchen t-shirt on and you're like, hey, we just opened up a One Kitchen over here. Here's a sample. Here's some Cinnabon. Here's a coffee. First meal is on me. Whatever. You can educate the community that you're there, that you're awesome. And this is a very different experience inside of a Walmart even. So, Walmart's excited about this because it puts more people in the store. It keeps people in the store longer. The reality of retail is the longer you're in the store, the more you buy. The reason that Costco puts the rotisserie chicken for $4.99 at the back of the store is so that you have more time in the store that you're walking through. And the average ticket at Costco is $79. And there was a reason. You might have gone in for a $4.99 chicken, but you come out with a whole bunch of other stuff because you're walking through the store. So that's a basic retail psychology. There's no secret here. Having this cool option inside of a Walmart actually brings different people to the store and keeps them in the store a little bit longer, which means there's more money to be had. Walmart is not in the food distribution business, but they do also recognize that is a giant part of business. Some of the biggest businesses in America are the franchises, right? They are the big players. So you can participate in that, or you can be a customer of it. Either way is fine. But this is an opportunity to build a legacy around a new idea that has met its time, that has the technology to serve it, that has the distribution ability to support it, and it has Walmart's seal of approval, and so much so that they are facilitating the ability to move out some of the old known brands that have a little bit of they're just a little bit old, but yes, it's an amazing opportunity for sure.
So, Cushman, a lot of people don't understand how big the Walmart chain is and how is it that this can be pretty much reached to a pinnacle of success. And the other factor is that people don't really understand the opportunity because they look at the investment, but they don't see the actual return, right? And because we all learned from COVID that a lot of restaurants were not successful. So can you?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. So here's some interesting math. If you just run some math with me, if you invested $500,000-$600,000 in this process, okay, that's a lot of money. That's a sizable amount of money. That's a reasonable house, nice house in most of America. But you take out a 30-year loan and it would end up costing you 1.5 million or whatever in interest and everything else. So there's that. It takes a long time to break even on a house. But in this business, if you invested that kind of money, you're also doing it against the backdrop of the speed of cash flow. Okay. So now do a little bit of math with me. Just play with this. If you were put in a store that has 2 million transactions per year, divided by 365 days, that's 5,400 plus individual credit card transactions per day. And statistically, in Walmart data, each transaction is accompanied by 1.9 human beings. So that's statistically speaking about 10,000 people per day. And across the restaurant industry, in these retail stores, the average ticket is about $17 per transaction. So these are just numbers. They can be adjusted one way or the other. They could be made to work for you or against you, but nevertheless, just play with these numbers. If you as an operator could stand at the front door and be a cool person and engage and get a smile out of people and give them samples and give them free meals or whatever. If you could get 3% of 10,000 people to be hungry, and they will be because they already came into the store hungry and they're going to get hungry while they're shopping because they're spending time doing it. I've done it. You've done it. We've all said, I can't go grocery shopping hungry because it costs me an extra $100. That's probably true. So when you go to Walmart and you're walking around the aisles and you're picking up stuff and you're like, I'm tired of buying all this crap. Let's get something to eat. That's normal. And so now you're checking out of the business, and right there in front of you, there's a one kitchen with all these multiple choices of food, kiosks going, showing you the food. You're like, oh, I want that burger, I want that taco or pizza, whatever it is. So if you had 10,000 people walking through the store every day, and you could engage 300 of those people to purchase a average $17 ticket, you can do the math. 300 times 17 times 365 days a year comes up to a number. And if you could say, well, my cost of goods is 35%, my labor is 24%, my royalty is 8% with advertising, et cetera, and build it down, my rent is 10% of that. When you come to the end of that number, you're going to be sitting in somewhere in the neighborhood of 20%. So if that number appeals to you, we've got something to talk about. If it doesn't, no problem. But this is a significant, monstrous opportunity, and the timing is it's not for everybody, because not everybody is capable of running businesses or leading people or managing anything. But if you have the capacity, you have the desire, you have the mindset, you have the will, then we'll shoulder up with you and help you get it going and ensure that you have a successful business. We ourselves, as a corporation, are building 500 of our own stores with a fund, and we expect that's a massive fund. So look, this is a beautifully timed opportunity, and we would love to talk to people that have sincere interest in something like this.
So the other factor is, it's for everybody, but we want to be able to focus on the veteran community, and we've talked about this offline. A lot of veterans, they take ownership, they follow instructions, they follow a lot of things, and here's a good opportunity, because when they go through that transition state, they don't know what they're going to do, and they don't know where they're going to go. They fully understand that this is not the military. They're coming into the real world. Mm-hmm. How do you envision that? And what is it that you feel, aside from helping everybody else, helping the veteran community?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. Veterans have put in time, and they've followed systems, and they've got discipline, they've got rigor. They more than likely have managed somebody along the way, and they just know how to show up. So in my mind, the veteran community is an ideal community, because they've already proven that they've had to live and thrive and succeed in a system. And that's what makes these processes work. It's a system. And human beings want continuity, they want consistency. And if you go somewhere and you have a taste for something, you want it to taste like what you think it's supposed to taste like. And so systems for food preparation, systems for running business, system for running life, that's what systems are all about, is not getting lost in overall creativity. The creativity is there, the innovation is there, but there's also the predictability. So I think that veterans are super ideal for managing a predictable output, in my opinion.
So let's talk about the quality of the food, right? When we're talking about one kitchen, ghost kitchen, how significant is the quality of food that people don't understand? Because they're probably looking at a one-stop location, but if you can elaborate more on how well is the quality of food, maybe they can understand a better understanding besides your presentation.
Yeah, I think some people think with this that it's like frozen foods or pre-prepared foods coming out of a vending machine or something like that. But that's not at all what it is. This is an actual kitchen, a grill, drawers with protein in one side, the condiments in another. You're literally manufacturing to recipes. So if there's an IHOP in there and you're ordering pancakes, it's going to taste like IHOP pancakes. It's the actual ingredients. So there are food distribution companies that we have our relationships with, and so as the products are being used and sold, the next orders are coming in every single day with fresh ingredients, fresh foods, and the people that are preparing this are preparing to a menu. Are some of the products ready to go, just, like quick heating up in a pizza oven or on the grill? Sure, yes, but that's about still meeting the recipe standards. So a Cinnabon is going to taste like a Cinnabon, like it does anywhere else. An IHOP pancake is going to taste the same. The Del or whatever, Cali burgers and the different things that are part of the choices. As a franchisee, you will have choices, a list of national brands to choose from, and we're going to help guide that based on the demographics of your area. If your area has a high Cuban area, then we might want to consider empanadas or different kinds of things. If it has a high Hispanic demographic, let's make sure that our array of Hispanic focused foods are represented there. If there's a big Asian community in the area, let's make sure that we're servicing some of that. So you look at the demographics of who's coming into that store, who lives in the area, and you just adjust. So you'll have multiple brands, but the quality of the food is going to be whatever you would get at that stand-up restaurant with the same name brand. It's going to be the same thing in there. You're not going to have the full menu of IHOP in a small space like this, but you might have 3 or 4 of the primary things that you would want to eat from IHOP. And so it's an awesome experience because the quality, this isn't an exchange. You're not getting choice and convenience in exchange for quality. You're getting quality with choice and convenience. I think it's the ultimate solution.
So a lot of people, I've been to both sides, and you hit it on the head. When you're seeing, I'll use an example, McDonald's, it's convenient. It's emergency food, right? You're tired. You're going to eat that. You need something to sit there. But a lot of people don't understand that this is the time that things are changing for a number of reasons. We go from the pandemic, how they're downsizing, and then the quality of choice. And then the other factor is Walmart is competing with Amazon to bring a new idea for those hardworking individuals that are slaved. They work. They spend about on the average 4 hours inside a Walmart, if that, on average. Now let's talk about during the holidays, right? It's we look at it as, hey, it's very convenient. But the other factor is, let's talk about people that are fearful of this. Can you more or less let them know that there's nothing to be afraid of if they decide to move on to this process?
Well, it's kind of how I started the conversation. Being good in life is a choice. We all want to be good, but to get to great, we have to make other decisions. And most everybody has to confront conscious decisions and limiting thoughts and doubts and preconceived notions and issues from childhood and whatever. There's all kinds of things that create barriers for taking action. But if you can get past that, and you can see yourself in an environment like this is just another big business opportunity. The question is, what kind of business do you want to run? What kind of legacy do you want to create? What kind of thing do you want to create? And for me, if you can have something that creates value, because what people pay for is value. They don't pay for, it's not about price, it's about value. And if you're providing value, and one of the biggest values to us is time. And, when you think about time, it's time and attention, right? So we even use the words, we spend time and we pay attention. And that is our currency. And it's time and attention. So if you can save people time, give them everything in one place, you're literally giving a value, and people pay for value. So if you are somebody that wants to offer that, great. I mean, I know people that are multimillionaires that own donut shops and Chinese food restaurants. And it's really a matter of what's your focus as a human being? What do you want to deliver? Do you want to be the best at it that you can be? And do you understand the value that you're actually creating for people? So if you do, then this is one of your options. It's not your only option, but it is if you want to go from good to great, at some point in your life, you have to take the plunge and decide it. I'm just giving one of the options. It just happens to be unique. It happens to be well-timed. It happens to be in the machinery, inside the machinery of the biggest retailer on earth. So what's different here is you don't own a building, you don't own, something like that, but what you own is a revenue generating value proposition for humans that cash flows immediately and builds a financial legacy that could change your life. And I personally, while I represent this, I personally am identifying some locations for myself because I understand I don't want to make tacos for a living personally, but I don't have any problem being in the taco making business and learning it and knowing it from soup to nuts, and then training people to run it for me, and then building a legacy and moving to the next thing. That's business. That's business building. That's leveraging time and money. And this is a revenue generating machine. So I think if people are fearful, I can't do anything about that. Fear and doubt have killed more dreams than any other thing in life. And that is an internal scenario. But there's nothing to fear when anybody steps into this process. They're stepping into some very strong business dynamics. And I can't even think of something that would give you greater assurance than to set up a business inside of a business that has 10,000 people walking through the door every day. Your likelihood of success is huge. And by the way, there's also, I didn't even talk to the 30 to 40% increase in sales that you get from third-party distribution with Uber Eats and DoorDash. I didn't speak to the 200 to 300 people that actually work in that store that now don't ever have to leave during breaks or lunches. Like this is a very dynamic thing. And I also didn't speak to the catering opportunities that come simply because you have a wider variety. Small businesses sometimes cater lunches for their people, and they can choose nugget spray from the local Chick-fil-A. Fine. But how many times can you do that? And so here you could come to your local One Kitchen and get a variety of things that satisfies the needs of all people. People are not, they're not uniform. They're all different. So that's what's nice about this is it deals with the reality of life. People are different. They have different emotions every day. They have different appetites every day. And One Kitchen can serve a lot of those needs and desires. So I see it as a home run.
So go to the screen and show them that how the One Kitchen looks like that one more time.
Okay.
Because
sure.
So we'll go over there so people can actually visualize this, and then you can speak to it. So just speak to it one more time of here. You're in just visualize walking into a Walmart, and this is what you run into.
Yeah. So what you're kind of looking at here in these renderings, these are just renderings of different ideas that could be optimized for these spaces. But as you're walking in, there is, you have big, like almost large screen TVs that you're just touching, swiping, and picking from the menus that are there, from the multiple from the multiple brands. So let's say that you're picking from a burgers or tacos or whatever, and you're seeing it. So you're just picking. It's just like what you're experiencing when you go into almost every McDonald's now. There's electronic kiosks. There's not people taking your order as much. You're going to the kiosk, you're placing your order, you're putting your credit card in, and then you stand and you wait, and then they call you. Well, this is the same thing. So what you would have in these environments is, call it a kiosk ambassador. So you'd have somebody in the space that's maybe keeping it clean and guiding people through the process. In Walmart, you have a older demographic. Like people that go to Walmart tend to be a little bit older, or they're less technology driven. And so you want to have somebody that's guiding you through the process. Everybody deals with technology. It's just the capacity or the skill set. So it's very easy. It's just basically point, touch, click, boom. Pictures are there, prices are there, the descriptions are there, and it's super easy. And they just do that, and then they put their payment through, and then the order's placed. It comes out in the packaging, and the customers can sit and eat, or they can take it to go with the rest of the stuff that they are ready to go, because at a certain point they're headed out the door. But I think this is a change of pace for people, a lot like, when Costco introduced their restaurants. We go to Costco, we love having the samples. Totally fine. We some of us go there just to eat samples instead of dinner. We think that's a good thing, but it's still, we still end up buying all kinds of stuff. And now with the restaurants, so I kind of go to Costco and I think, yeah, I'm probably going to get some pizza, or probably get a chicken thing, or a shake, or a hot dog. And that's not my healthiest choices, but I do it. With this, now you have the same kind of mentality. It's like, I got to go get my toilet paper, I got to get my shampoo, my cleaners, some clothes for Susie, whatever it is at Walmart. And I think I'm going to pick up dinner for my family, and now I can do that in one place and out the door, save time, it's efficient. And I think that it can be a very, very beautiful environment for a certain kind of business entrepreneur.
So as I look at the as I look at the renderings, as you stated, it looks inviting, and I think that because of the color scheme and the way it's designed, it looks more inviting versus when you're in a Walmart, Subway. Everybody goes, yeah, there's Subway, and here's McDonald's. But here's an opportunity where the letters are big, there's space. Is there, a sit down? What would you say is the average? Maybe it's too early to ask, but still, if I was to sit there, how long do you think I would be able to sit down, or would there be a long wait time to be able to sit down? Let me ask you that.
No, I mean, if you're in a high traffic store, and you consider the pace at which people go through the turnstile, right? And maybe at Christmas time, that you might have 10 or 12 lines going through, so people are coming out. Not everybody's going to stop and buy food, but if in a drive-through, it's every 45 seconds somebody's driving through, placing an order, so things can get backed up. Here, the pace is a little bit slower. You're still having your ups and downs, but it's not like wild spikes and cramped lines. You get your food, you can sit and eat, and take whatever time you want to eat. It's really it's a good pace. You're maxing out. I'm saying maxing out at 3% capture rate. That's 300 people in a day. I'm talking from breakfast to dinner. You're typically open, even usually you're open like 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. or some range like that. You got a couple shifts of people, and so you're really focused on lunch and dinner time if there's spikes of activity. But even at that, it's super manageable. So I think the efficiencies are built into the process. It's built for speed. It's built for optimization. And you, as a consumer that wants to sit down and eat, you have plenty of time to do that. That's never a problem.
So the other factor is, I'm asking, as a franchisee, how do you envision the franchisee, the person standing there? Are they going to have somebody to assist, clean up? These are little things that I would look at if I was to go to one kitchen. Oh, there's great opportunity, but is there another live person in the immediate common area, or they're going to be able to, clean up, or whatever the case may be? Those are little things that people take for granted.
Well, this is not, this is not an this isn't a vending machine. This is a business. And so there are staff. So you have a couple people in the back. You have probably a couple people in the front, somebody who is making sure the orders are, handed out to the customers. As I said, you'd probably have somebody who's a kiosk ambassador who's helping people place their orders, talking to them, engaging with them. That person's probably helping keeping the seating area clean. And I think for the first 6 months, if you're a smart operator, you'll have somebody out front at the door with a banner and a T-shirt and handing out coupons or samples or whatever, because you got to let the community know you're there. And I think that the extensions of this are natural. Like the brand extensions could be things like food trucks. You could be at the high school for Friday night football. You could be at the hospital for fundraising. There's a lot of things to extend the brand and the impact in the community. But with respect to the experience in the common area, yeah, you would have to have some people. This isn't a waiter business. This isn't a servers and waiters and all of that. This is people sitting in an environment, enjoying the comfort of the environment, doing what we all do, which is eat food, and doing it in a way that's enjoyable with variety, choice, and quality. And so that's the deal. You're providing a quality environment inside of a Walmart and a place to rest and recharge and eat, which is not currently available. And so it changes even your relationship to Walmart. And so if you think about that, Walmart loves this whole concept of innovation because it's raising their game in the community, giving more variety, making them more of a, not a destination, because a fast food's not a destination typically, but it just adds another level to the experience. Something like what you're used to doing when you go to Whole Foods or when you go wherever. So it's an amazing thing. There's a question: what is the percentage? I don't know what that means. I think I'm not. That question would need to be a little clearer to me in order to know what that means.
It probably is a percentage of what you make in the profit, but you can.
I already said it's 20%. It's 20% is the net operating profit based on the pro formas that we have.
So, from your observation and dealing with Walmart, people don't understand how huge it is because Walmart, as you stated, has been, around for quite some time now. Their biggest competitor is Amazon. Where's the biggest, amount of Walmarts in the United States? Where you think of, if you can share that as well.
Yeah, if you look at the concentration of store locations, they are highly concentrated through the upper Midwest section of the United States. If you cut the United States into 4 quarters, and you have the Northeast quarter, which would include like Chicago and Baltimore and everything in between, that's where almost 60% of the U.S. population is cramped in. And in that quarter of the United States, you have the second highest percentage of Walmart locations. The highest percentage is in the southeastern quarter of the United States, which would include Texas to Florida to, call it Virginia. And in those areas, you have the highest percentage of that. And then in the southwest quarter, which is where I live, I live in Southern California, the numbers are a lot less. And then there's a higher, that's the 4th area. And the 3rd area would be the upper Northwest. There's big stores located in certain parts of Washington and Idaho and Utah and whatever. But sometimes those places, that's the only game in town. Like that's the only thing that you're really traveling to for some of the rural communities. So Walmart has a very interesting relationship. In where I am, it might struggle to get as much attention because there's so many options. And in big cities, lots of options, lots of food options. So that's one consideration to be thinking about. But in college towns and in good sized cities and where families live across the country, this is for me, it's a natural home run. So the concentration is primarily the Midwest and the Southeast.
So Craig, if anybody wants to reach out to you, can you put it in the chat? Well, you have a LinkedIn account, but as we wrapped up, what would you leave with these people, the audience based on this presentation?
Well, I'd go back to where I started, and that is, like, what do you dream about as a human being? What is it that that you want for your own life, and how much is your time worth to you? I think I think that everybody is looking for the same freedoms. We want time freedom, we want money freedom, we want relationship freedom, and we want purpose freedom. That's what I think. And I think that time freedom doesn't mean that you have all free time. It means that you're in control of how you dedicate your time. And money freedom is about how much income you can derive to service the things you dream about. You know, $1 million is a lot to some people and it's nothing to some people. So the question is, what does money freedom look like to you and how do you get it? And then relationship freedom is being able to do what you want to do with the people you want to do it with. And purpose freedom is to be able to leave the legacy and do the things that you want to do because it's who you are. And business is a vehicle to get us to all of those things. So my thing I would leave with someone is, if it's in your mind that you are not living the life of your freedom or your dreams, and you're looking for something, and something that I said or we talked about today resonates with you, then execute on that. Like, discover it, go down the path with it. If it doesn't, if this is like, has nothing to do with what I want to do, no problem. It's not for everybody. You got to be for us. You got to prove to us that you are that you're a viable candidate. We don't just give this franchise to anybody. The success of the franchise is predicated on the franchisee. So we don't just take anybody with money. Like, there's a vetting process. And so the truth is we're looking for those relationships where we love you and you love us and you love the opportunity and we want to support loving you in the opportunity. It's really like that. We're looking for partners and friends and people who become a part of our family in this process. So if that's something you're looking for, I want to talk to you. And if it's not, no problem. Then if you know somebody else that's here, get them to hire them, and so that we can help them as well, because we want to create well-being and goodness in everywhere we go. And I think this business adds value to every community that it shows up in. This isn't just about how much money you can make and how many tacos you can make. This is about how well can you add value to the community. And are you driven that way? If you are, this is an awesome vehicle, and we'd love to be and honored to be partners with you. That's what I would say.
So it's been great. I've learned a lot on this conversation on One Kitchen, Ghost Kitchen. And if you like the segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it, subscribe to the LinkedIn channel for episode 145. If you want to reach out to my buddy and my client here, Craig Cushman, he's on LinkedIn. He'll put it in the chat. So as I stated before, this is for everyone, but at the same time, I'm putting it out there for the veteran community because they're on the top of the tier level. But for anybody who wants to be able to participate this, I believe it's open for discussion. It's open, but as Cushman stated, there's a vetting process. You can bring the money all you want, but there's got to be a fit, and it's got to be a lifelong commitment. Correct?
That is correct. Well, it doesn't have to be a lifelong commitment. You could build this business and you could sell it. Like, this is a legacy. This is a business. So we want to help people get in the business of business. And if you want to build it and keep it, awesome. If you want to build it and sell it, awesome. It doesn't matter, but come and build it and experience a pace of business that will immediately return cash flow to you. And just, you get one, you don't get these shots to build a franchise inside of the biggest retailer in America or in the world. You don't get this shot often. This is a rare time. So if you see that and you're smart enough to recognize that, get on a conversation with us if the timing in your own life is right. Because the timing of this is going to be, it is what it is. It's not about your timing. This is the right timing for this business. And so anybody who can make themselves fit into that, this is going to be the right timing for them too.
All right, my man. So I want to thank you, Mr. Cushman, for doing this outstanding presentation, and for the people on LinkedIn and LinkedIn Live, on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you as well. You enjoy your Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. Until then, if you want another segment of LinkedIn Perspective with Cushman be doing a presentation, let us know in the chat. Simplify, always beside you. Stand by there, Cushman.